Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. This remember you guys some combos for Red Dragon Archfiend, and this is post Crimson King structure deck. So if you guys want to see the deck profile, it's going to be in the top right corner. But here I'm going to get started with a 1-card combo using Crimson Gaia. So here I'm going to activate Crimson Gaia in order to search out one of my Resonators. In this case, it's going to be Soul Resonator. I'm going to normal summon our Resonator, and it's actually able to search out level 4 or lower Fiend monsters. So this is really great because Bone Archfiend is not a Resonator, but we're still able to switch summon it out. Then we can get it out by getting rid of Crimson Gaia from our board. Then we can discard or mill one of our Resonators. In this case, it's going to be Crimson Resonator in order to level modulate. Then we can get Red Rising Dragon. Use Red Rising Dragon here in order to get Crimson Resonator, and now we can use Crimson Resonator to get 2 Resonator monsters from our deck onto the board. So here we're going to get Vision Resonator and Synchron Resonator. So Vision Resonator here is going to be good because we're actually able to get a spell Trap Search. And here I'm going to use Red. I'm going to search out Red Zone. Usually I like searching out Crimson Gaia, but because I already used it, I'm going to get Red Zone here. Then I'm going to Synchro Summon into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Get myself the Vision Resonator back to my hand. And then because I use Scar Red Dragon Archfiend as a synchro material, we're actually able to get out Red Dragon Archfiend. And usually you don't want to end with this monster just because it's going to pop your board. So we're going to be using it to synchro summon, get ourselves our Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. Then with Bane we can actually tribute one of our monsters in order to bring back Scar Red Dragon Archfiend. And that's going to be the end of the first combo. So it's not anything too crazy, but it is a 1-card combo, and you're able to search out, summon out something like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. And if you're able to attack during the battle phase, that's great because you can obviously extend if you're able to bring back a bunch of tuners. And you can use Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss here as like one of your main cards to actually interact with your opponent during their turn, as you are able to negate one of their cards. So that's a pretty powerful effect that we're actually able to do. And Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend is not going to do anything too crazy, but it's just another monster that you can have out on the board. And of course we have Red Zone. So if our opponent activates our card or effect while we control Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it. So of course we have here our Scarred Dragon Archfiend that is considered a Red Dragon Archfiend while on the board. We can use Red Zone, pop a card on the field. So that's just a little bit of more disruption that we're able to do. But let's go to the next combo. Okay guys, so here's the second combo that I have for you. So it's using Crimson Gaia and Crimson Resonator. We're going to use Gaia here to get Soul Resonator. Then we're going to special summon out our Crimson Resonator and normal summon out our Soul Resonator. Search out our Bone Archfiend, get rid of the Crimson Gaia. So this is a great way of just avoiding having to discard a card. It's just by getting rid of Crimson Gaia. Then we can level modulate our Soul Resonator here before we synchro summon so we can get out our Red Rising Dragon. And now we can bring back our Crimson Resonator, summon out our Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend, and you want to get Crimson Resonator when you have only one monster that is a Dark Synchro, so that you're able to activate its effect here and get 2 more Resonators out on the board. So in this case, I like going for, our Spell Trap Search and Synchron Resonator. So here I'm going to use Vision Resonator to search out our Red Zone. And then we're going to get ourselves our Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So it's one of the Red Dragon Archfiend monsters that you actually want to get out during your first turn, as this is a monster that's able to negate a face-up card your opponent controls. So that's actually pretty useful. And a lot of these Red Dragon Archfiend like monsters, boss monsters, aren't that great for doing things during your opponent's turn. They're usually about like clearing the board during your turn here. So now we're going to get Vision Resonator added back to our hand. Use UV Loop here in order to banish the Red Rising Dragon. Then we can use Bestial Dispatter in order to special summon out the Red Rising Dragon. Then we can synchro summon into our Void Ogre Dragon, summon out our Vision Resonator, get ourselves our Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. And now we can use Bane here to get rid of the UV Loop. So this is the great thing about UV Loop, is that this is just our main card for banishing things out consistently. So we can use UV Loop to banish the Void Ogre Dragon. And now during our opponent's turn, we're actually able to use Red Zone to special summon out our Void Ogre Dragon. So that's what's really great about this. And you can see it's a pretty stacked board. It's not anything like too crazy that the deck is doing. But we do have our Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend. We have our basically like card negate, face-up card negate. Bestial Dispatter is important to have here too. In case you don't want to get the Void Ogre Dragon and put it on the board, you can use Bestial Dispatter to negate a monster's effect here. And then Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane is just a beater. Void Ogre Dragon, if you're able to get it out, then that's a spell trap negate, of course, and then Red Zone is actually able to pop a card on the field, so that's of course really useful to have. But let's go to the next combo. Alright guys, so now here we have a 3-card combo, so he's using Soul Resonator, Bone Archfiend, and Crimson Resonator. So we're going to normal summon out our Soul Resonator, use it here to search out one of our Resonators. Then we're going to get out our Bone Archfiend, level modulate by dipping the UV Loop here. Use Red Rising Dragon in order to bring out the Crimson Resonator, so that's why we like pitching that card. And then we can use Crimson Resonator here to bring out 2 monsters. Get ourselves our Scar Red Dragon Archfiend, search out the Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia, of course, is a really good option to search out over Red Zone. I've seen some people like prefer to just search out the Red Zone, but you should get the Crimson Gaia and then go for the Red Zone, because worst case scenario, you could also use Crimson Gaia as like a card to remove from your board in order to summon out the Bone Archfiend. Then we got our Bystial Dispatter here. Of course, as we've done before, we were able to bring out our Red Dragon Archfiend and then bring out Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Now we're going to banish our Red Rising Dragon in order to get the UV Loop. Banish another monster here. Use Bystial Dispatter, get it out just to extend Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. Use Bane's effect here, tribute the monster. Just stack the board up, that's basically all we're doing here, is stacking it with a bunch of beaters. And of course, that's great because now we still have something valid in order to use for Bystial Dispatter. We're able to pop something. And also, you know, Scar Dragon Archfiend, while it's on the board, it's considered a Red Dragon Archfiend monster, which is good because we need that for Red Zone. So that's always important to have here. Yeah, this board is similar to the last one. We weren't able to do anything too crazy. We do have Soul Resonator though, so in case we want to extend during the next turn, we are able to do that, even if our opponent's able to break our board here, as we're able to search out a level 4 Lord Feed monster from our deck to our hand. And as long as we have something here, we can get out Bone Archfiend and do something like that. But let's go to the final combo that I have for you guys. Alright guys, so this final combo isn't anything like too realistic, but it could be fun to do. It's a 4-card combo with 1 card to discard. And let's get started here. So we're going to start by special summoning out our Crimson Resonator because we control no monsters. We can get ourselves a Red Rising Dragon. So similar as to what we've done before, but we're actually using Wandering King Wild Wind here, which we haven't been able to use in these combos. Then we're going to bring out 2 tuners in the form of Soul Resonator and Vision Resonator. Then we can search out our Bone Archfiend. Normal summon out the Bone Archfiend so we don't have to get rid of one of our cards. And now here we're going to get our Bystial Dispatter. Use the Red Rising Dragon in order to bring back our Soul Resonator. And of course here we've been able to search out the Crimson Gaia using the Vision Resonator. Get ourselves our Red Supernova Dragon. So this card is pretty insane, as you know, it's able to clear out the board by banishing all cards your opponent controls if they activate a monster effect. So it's always really good to get out. And of course it's able to banish and bring itself back as well. Then this is the reason why we run our Sepei Dusk-Walker, is that it's able to bring out a Red Rising Dragon. So we're going to use it exactly for that. Use Red Rising Dragon here in order to bring out the Synchron Resonator. So you can see that even though we've used Red Rising Dragon before, we are able to use the effect once again, which is part of the insane reason why we run 3 copies of this card. This card is just insane overall. We're going to banish our Red Rising Dragon, get our UV Loop of course. Use UV Loop here in order to banish another card. Then we can get our Scar Red Dragon Archfiend, Synchro Summon, go into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and then we can bring out our normal Red Dragon Archfiend, of course, and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, as you've seen with the other combos, just another form of interruption. Then we can go into Void Ogre Dragon, use Crimson Gaia, search out one of our cards, use Red Zone here, and then this is just something to show you guys like that you can extend on if you choose to. You can use Bystial Dispatter to bring out your Red Rising Dragon. You can totally just keep it, you know, there though. I'd probably prefer that it's there actually, just because you can use Bystial Dispatter to negate one of your opponent's monster effects. So that's important to note, and as because you might want to use like Red Zone later on in order to bring back one of your banished synchro monsters, in case you want to do that. But if not, then you're of course still able to pop a card on the board, because we do have a Red Dragon Archfiend monster here. And now this is the thing that sucks about Red Dragon Archfiend, is that it is going to clear out your board. Thankfully we have Soul Resonator to protect them, so it's always good to be able to do something like that. And yeah, that's going to be the combo here. It's definitely going to set you up with a bit more of interruptions, as we have Basilisk Patter, that is going to be your form of monster negate or like monster destruction, depending on what you decide to shuffle back. Then we have Red Supernova, that's just able to banish all cards your opponent controls. So of course that's really annoying and a powerful fact that if you're able to get it off. Red Rising Dragon is just here. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss is a card negate. Then we have Red Dragon Archfiend here mainly for the red zone. Then we have Void Ogre Dragon, as it's able to be a spell trap negate. So you can see a lot of disruptions in this combo. Obviously it requires 4 cards to get it out, but if you're able to get it out, it's pretty insane. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.